team. Welcome to another week of Finding Joy on the Journey with Joy, which is such a gift for us. Total 10 moment from that perspective. Joy, welcome. Thank you again for just letting us be on your journey as we are discovering more about just how to enter into this world in the new season that we have, how to be for each other, and most importantly, how to really stand up for what we believe in.
Thank you, Carlette. It's always great to be here.
I really value just us being able to speak from our hearts and learn from each other. Leadership is so much about listening, learning, and then taking action in a way that's really aligns with who we are. And I heard a phrase this week that I love, total 10 for me from a 10 moment perspective, which is radical equality. So, I mean, first of all, the word radical to me is like, wow, okay, let's get real about this. And then equality is certainly something we use the word all the time, but it doesn't feel as powerful to me without putting those two together. So we're in a world of constant change right now. I love the gift of being able to really rewrite how we want to do things or even start to write a new script. What does radical equality mean to you?
Wow, it's a great phrase. But I think when I think of it, you think of equality in all facets, and um, obviously with everything that we've been through over the last year, especially, we think about blacks being equal, just equal races, in terms of trying to eliminate and eradicate racism across the country. Also, in regards to women, just equality with women, we see such a huge um, wave now of lifting up women to leadership positions, Black women especially. So I think it's just a really, really great time, in terms of where we are, where we're going. We've still got a long way to go, but I think that radical equality comes in everything: religion, gender, sexual orientation, everything. It's just really being intentional about including everyone, not judging somebody because of any titles they have, what they look like. And so just really being radical about that, just really forgetting all of those little things that in the past might have hindered you from getting to know someone, to figuring out someone's story, and just being really open to looking at everyone as equal.
Yeah. Love just the thought of that openness and that ability to really have the courage to care about each other and to be for each other. And we both have a sports background. We love that competitive spirit. I really want to talk about being competitively great for radical equality. So, how do we use what we've done to win championships to really start to win life in a completely different way?
Well, I think a lot of it in sports, in sports, a lot of times we have a voice, we have a platform. And I think that people are watching. I think even, we know that communication is mostly nonverbal. And so I think even in the way that we carry ourselves, in the way that we, even if we don't speak, we can be for something and show people, show the world that we are for equality. I think that, even just being part of teams, teams are usually made up of so many different people, backgrounds, races. And so sports is a place where it's kind of unique. We don't really have a lot of those biases that, some other people might grow up having, because you play with so many different teammates and they're from so many different places. So I think for us with the sports background, just really in competitive greatness, just being our best when our best is needed, is helping people. And when we come across those people in sports, in other areas, just really trying to help them understand. And that's how I think we can be our best when our best is needed in a time like this, where people might not understand, and we have a voice to help them learn more, and try to figure things out in terms of looking at people as equal.
Yeah, what a gift to be able to be for each other and compete for each other and really compete in a way that is for what we believe in versus competing against each other. So, even in sports, we're all about competing for each other. And I love that team analogy. Really, the power of team is celebrating our differences, and we need each other. That's why teams are so good together, is that we're not trying to be all and play all. We really want to know, like, what's our position and how can we play a small role in something bigger than ourselves. So being able to figure that out in life and come from a place of abundance, there's plenty. Our world needs so much. So how can we always be lifting each other up and helping each other to really change and be champions for this change versus feeling fear or scarcity and feeling like there's not enough?
Well, I think the one thing that we can do is continue to just encourage each other, be positive. I think there's so many times that we kind of take for granted, just giving people hope, saying something nice, letting people know verbally that I'm for you, I'm with you. Because I think sometimes we take that for granted, even if we're in a team setting and we see that person every day. Just really telling them like, "Hey, I'm here for you. If you need anything," just really trying to lift them up that way and letting people know verbally, like, "I'm for you, I'm with you. What can I do to serve and support?"
So, Joy, in our work as sports life coaches, we're a three-dimensional model: personal, professional, and philanthropic. And we believe so deeply in sports philanthropy, really using our platform for social good. And so many times when you hear the word philanthropy, you think of money. And our way of being a radical about just philanthropy and making it, totally for everyone is to anchor that currency in hope. Because what a gift to be able to be a champion and give richly and abundantly the power of hope. And so, you using your platform wherever you are, what have you learned just on our team and through the process of being a sports philanthropist and giving hope?
Well, I've learned a lot. I've learned that it goes a long way. A smile, just really giving my time, really trying to help. And one thing that I've tried to do with my years of experience in coaching and business is just to really give people hope that the things that they might be going through are temporary most times. And so, having been through a lot of those things, whether it's as a student athlete to give hope to my athletes that are here, or with the staff that maybe hadn't coached as long as I had or been through some of the things that I have, just to really give hope in terms of, yeah, I know what you're going through, and it makes people feel good that you do know and that you can understand what they feel like. So I think that gives hope to know that, hey, you can move through this, or when there's an issue, being able to really help out and just kind of uh, give some words of comfort or wisdom and just let them know that everything's going to work out.
So, the fact that we are in this moment of time that is all about champion change, change is hard. It means that we can feel a little uncomfortable. Yet in sports, we really welcome change because we know that it's forward focus. It's no, for instance, in basketball, if we miss a shot, we get the rebound, we reset, and we really have the team start to let's figure this out again. So, we want to do the same thing in life as we give hope to people and coaches and players, whoever's listening to this, is that yes, change is hard. Go for it. Take the shot. If you miss, let's rebound, reset. So, what have been some winning strategies for you when you have gone through change that's been tough and it's really set you up to reset and be even in a better position?
Well, just really understanding and leaning on my support team has been a winning strategy. Going through change, change is very difficult, and just really being intentional about opening my mind up to new thinking. Just really looking at things differently, maybe than I have in the past to help me. Also, just really seeking out people to talk to that I can get information from, because I want to be a constant learner in those respects. So those are some of the winning strategies for me in terms of really um, leaning on people, working with people, those types of things.
Well, as we talk about change, I think about activism. I just really respect how powerful that is right now and love that it's showing up in such a champion change way. When I think about activism, I think about its action for a vision, really being intentional about knowing that I want to take action anchored in a vision. A lot of times activism can just be, yes, I want to make a difference. And yet there's some real things, preparation, practice, training, knowing what you're standing up for, knowing just the education behind it. What are some winning strategies for you when you think about activism?
Um, I think just like you said, really focusing on what the vision is,
Yeah.
what your purpose is, what you're trying to build or what you're trying to accomplish. And then from there, studying about how you can make that happen, figuring out, what will it take to make these things work? What will it take to make them happen? What do I need? Who do I need? So I think those are all winning strategies, and really making that come to light if do I need people, what resources do I need to make that happen? And so I think when I think of winning strategies for activism or for taking action on a vision, it is really coming up, concretely with exactly what I need, putting some thought into it, because sometimes the idea sounds great and then the execution is lost. So really putting a lot of thought into where I'm trying to go, and then really the steps that it's going to take to execute that vision.
So it takes commitment, it takes courage, it takes caring. Change never happened that I know of casually, or, maybe it did, but it wasn't transformational change or champion change. And so when you think about really the desire and the passion, we all have, we're all living in such a time of just great passion for change and great desire to see this radical equality everywhere. What's the commitments that we can start to take kind of moment by moment, day by day, that can start to build on that training of transformational change?
Well, one commitment that I think people can make, one winning strategy might be to just do something different. We always talk about doing the same thing will yield the same results. So maybe do something different. For example, um, the people that you're very comfortable with, maybe going outside of that circle in the workplace and just getting to know somebody else, whether if you're a white person and that's a black person, or whether it's somebody from a different um, ethnic background, just really trying to learn something new about that person and not just generalizing. I think it starts with conversations. I think that people, whatever that is, instead of having those mental blocks, just really sit down, listen, and just be open to what they have to say and learn about it. Doesn't mean you have to like it or agree with it, but I think it starts with people just stepping a little bit outside of their comfort zone to have those conversations and be open with one another.
I really respect the power of story and getting to know a person's story, because so many times we just can have our own bias in terms of, we don't know what we don't know. It's just something that we're used to. We talk about muscle memory in sport. We got muscle memory in our emotions as well and in our life. And maybe we didn't grow up with a certain group of people, or maybe we did things a certain way. What a gift. We don't have to do that anymore. Like, have the fun, have the just the ability to be curious and to care and to go for it and to discover what kind of treasures you can find with every person that you're connecting with, and make it really a gift to connect with them and just say, hey, tell me about the power of your story. I want to know who you are. Because the minute we get to know who we are, we have so much in common. We all have the same, we have family, we want love, we want to belong, we want opportunities, we want to be able to support our family. I mean, the list just goes on about how what we have in common together, and that's a great place to start to build. And so let's just talk about really how moments matter, because we talk about commitments, and sometimes that word can be a big word and people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know about making a commitment to something. And yet in sports, we're so much about every moment matters. Like, are you practicing at a level 10? Are you, saying yes to the things that scare you? What is it about really taking advantage of those moments? So when I hear you talk about sit with somebody different, ask somebody, it's a moment that shows up and we can do something different with it. So what have you learned in your gift of life, just really about how moments matter?
Well, I think, just like you talk about in sport, we talk about moments and, big moments that come to our mind, like especially for me in sport is, winning a championship, when I've been able to win a championship, or, something big happen on the court, but also off the court. I think there's those moments that present themselves where I might be somewhere with one of our players that might be a new player, that I have a moment right there that I can really get to know her, or somebody new that I've never met. Those are all moments. We might be out in the grocery store, a moment that somebody walks up to me and says something. So I think when I think of moments now, I look at it a little bit differently, like really seeking out and not taking for granted. Just being able to learn in different situations, to meet different people, to have different conversations, and to really think about, you know, setting myself up for success, and thinking about when the moment comes and I'm able to capitalize on what's important to me, or what success looks like for me, that I'm ready for that moment. So I think preparing for the moments, and also just really, taking full advantage when they come along, because they might not ever again. So it's is something that's really evolved with me and something that I pay a lot more attention to now than maybe years and years ago.
So, thinking about how moments matter, we have to be present in terms of to really capture those moments, from noticing a sunset to just, having a feeling that maybe somebody needs a little extra something and actually giving them hope or having that conversation. So, being able to be intentional about everything that we're doing in our lives and realize if we want those big moments, what are all the little moments that are actually training me, preparing me, and leading me up to being ready for that? I think about sports again in terms of, a buzzer moment when you take the shot. It's a million practice shots that actually prepares you for that one moment in time. And so, team, I just want to say to you, let's practice, practice, practice our moments, a million practice moments, and then we're ready for whenever that big moment comes along. I think about, the saying, coach, put me in, coach. And so it feels like our whole world wants to be put into life right now and change the world and be a champion, and activism and all of these great, great, just powerful emotions. Let's practice the moments to really prepare for that greatness.
That sounds great. I really like that, and that's something that, I'm definitely being more intentional about, just really not knowing what's going to come, but really just really preparing every single little moment that I'm able to prepare for whatever that is, whatever is in store. So I'm definitely taking full advantage of preparing with moments so that I'm ready to go in the game.
So, team, it's up to you. Joy and I are passing the ball to you for you to practice, practice, practice. Really, every moment matters, and make it a 10. Go for what matters to you. Stand up for what you believe in, and also just get to know people, get to know their story, and enjoy the journey of this transformational change that we have the honor of living through right now. So, Joy, thank you for sharing this journey with us about you and your life and what you're going through.
Thank you, Carlette.